Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy, Patty Stash. I'm here to talk about a chart. I was trying to think, what's the best idea for me to portray this to somebody for them to understand? Here it is. This is what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to take this little video. I'm going to explain this chart. I'm going to explain the market conditions. I'm going to explain the breakdown of other charts. And I'm going to explain why, in my opinion, I believe that today will be the last day that you could buy this token for 0.0002. Everybody holds. The symbol is HOLD. Now, this right here is a weekly chart. Let me zoom in on this chart first. So obviously you can see here. Here's the chart. The inception of the project was just before here in September. And then in October it pumped. Then we came down. This is when the developer abandoned the project and sold and, dumped out of 100, 200 different wallets. And during that time, we managed to pump 40x from the low to the high. Then the price bled out. We formed another new bottom, came back up, and then it did a 12x pump. So during that time, you could see the weekly MACD. It made a positive crossover right here. That was the first time it's happened. Now, the second time is approaching. So what does this mean? Well, I'll tell you one thing. Back then, market conditions were much different. My expectations were not the same as they are now. Now, with Bitcoin going and everything starting to come alive, with institutions talking positive, this crossover right here is going to be breaking that. So it's not even crossing over yet, but I believe that we'll be here by the time it starts to do it, which is the all-time high, which is going to be 0005. So you can see, it's almost a line that's horizontal, but it's got a little tilt to it. But anyway, so we're sitting right at the resistance. So I keep saying when we break 0002, the price is going to break out. So now let's just look at this right here. This is the weekly hold chart. I said no wallet owns more than 1% of supply, which is essentially making it rug proof. There's no cluster of wallets that holds over 1.7%. So basically, if there was a group of people that wanted to collectively sell everything they own at once, they can't hurt it because they don't own enough. The distribution is good. Less than 1% total supply available. I think it's at 0.085 or so, and that number's starting to squeeze, so I believe a supply squeeze is possible. And then I said the weekly MAC cross is about to happen. Everybody's going to chase. So, like Telcoin, like other projects that I own that didn't do anything until they eventually broke out, nobody cares about this. There's nobody paying attention to it right now. There's no influencers talking about it. Nobody's drawn the chart. There's just a small handful of us from the community that have been here. So, why does that matter? Well, when you've got a chart that looks like this that's been coiling up for a year and a half and it breaks resistance, it becomes a big deal. Same thing happened with Telcoin. Telcoin went down for 2 straight years. When it broke the weekly chart, it did a 500x pump because at that time, market conditions were right. In my opinion, market conditions are almost there, but this will be the beginning. Anybody that gets in below this right here is going to be fucking really happy. All right, now, what's the reason I'm saying that this is going to break out? Well, if you zoom out and if you look at just the 1 hour chart, or I should say zoom in, the 1 hour chart is essentially showing a massive MACD cross while breaking resistance, which would indicate to me if history repeats and this goes like that and this crosses and it goes like that, this one right here is going to be so much bigger. It's going to dwarf this. It's going to dwarf this. And for the reasons that I'm talking about, that macro resistance on the weekly chart is right here. So if the short-term indicators are beginning to break out, it usually means the 1 hour chart breaks out, then the 4 hour chart, then the 1 day, then the 3 day, then the 1 week. So it's still probably going to be a week or two before the weekly crosses over, maybe even a month. But by that time, I bet this is at least 0.001 or higher. I believe we're going to go above a penny. This is the kind of token that's going to get all the attention in the world once it starts pumping. Until then, it's a window of opportunity for people that understand a token with math like this to accumulate. So today's the day. I believe this is going to be the tipping point of this project. I think from here on out, it's going to start to break out. And like I say, when you scale out to like the weekly chart, everything about it is perfect. And oh yeah, you may remember, I said, want to look for a token with a strong base, blah, blah, blah. I made this on May 7th. Today is May 15th. When I made this, it was at 0.00087. So already the price has more than doubled, and it was the easiest fucking prediction because clearly you could see this is support. It bounced market conditions. Now it's going to fucking annihilate this with ease. You'll see. Just wait. And all of this is based on the good wallet distribution, having a good community, being around for a long time, surviving multiple big dumps. But most important is the last thing I talk about all the time. All the money that's going to be flooding into the market's going to be following what others do. Because you have a project like this that's fun, exciting, that has a good macro chart and hasn't yet broken out, I believe it's going to pull an SPX type move. SPX went from 0.001 to 1 cent over the course of a little bit, then made a big breakout and went from 1 cent to $1.50 for a 1,500x. For that reason, I would never buy SPX. It already made its move. This is basically the SPX before SPX. So this is what I consider Shiba Inu of the last market cycle when everybody was buying Dogecoin. But of those two, which is the one that produced the highest return on investment? Shiba Inu did a 960,000x, 9.6 million%, while Dogecoin made a great pump, but it was only like, 10 or 20x. I'm looking for the biggest bang for my buck. Everybody holds, in my opinion, is the next SPX, but it hasn't yet broken out, so nobody knows. But once it does, everybody will be aware of it.